All right, penny stock billionaires. Good afternoon. This is Tuesday, middle of August, and the bull market continues. So this is we're seeing a follow through in some of the early leaders, the green shoots. So the stocks that got beaten up in the last 18 months, those are coming back right now. The first one we're going to be looking at is FUBO. That's right. This is a former Next super stock. This is a stock that we originally introduced on our Next super stock platform in February of 2020. The company was called FaceBank at that time. It was on the bulletin board, OTC, over the counter. And this is one of those stocks that actually became a legitimate company, believe it or not. Some of these OTC stocks become legit. And so it went from $9 to $60, right? At the first time around, got a little bit ahead of itself, no question. And look, I've been telling you about this. And by the way, we're not working with them right now. They're not a client of Wall Street Reporter. They haven't been in a while. I am a shareholder. I just bought some recently, back here on the breakout, which I've been telling you guys about. And this is it's happening. Oh my God, look at this. And this is $6, 625. Look, this is let me give you the Japanese candlestick chart because this makes it easier. I know a lot of you like the candlesticks. I mean, what do I need what else do you need me to tell you? What else can I tell you here, right? All right. So look, we had the breakout above the 50-day moving average. I keep mentioning how significant these moving averages are in terms of for trend indication. And okay, so the question is, it's $6 already, right? So it's basically doubled in the last few weeks, right? Okay, great. What's the upside? How far can it go? Look, I think the next level of resistance is going to be kind of in this $10 range, $10. I don't think it's going to last too long. It'll probably consolidate there for a little while, and then I think ultimately we could see $35 as the upside. So I'm holding out to $35. I recently bought some shares. Was it last week? I think I bought some more. I've been adding to my position now that we have confirmation of the uptrend. Should you buy it right here? Good question. Usually there's a pullback after this. It would be pretty normal for there to be a little bit of a pullback. Let it calm down a little bit. I'm sure it's these things are not gonna go crazy. But what else is moving? DraftKings, BBBY. So what's the common theme? Let me first go to DraftKings also. It's another of the sports betting stocks. I've been telling you, sports betting, big theme for this year. It's making them big move. Again, confirmation of the uptrend. We broke out above this, 12, what actually right here, 12, this $12 or $21, right? Again, FUBO, these lower price stocks have a lot more torque. So FUBO, I think, is going to give you more bang for the buck. You're going to get a lot more torque over there. The low price stocks, more speculative, they give you more torque. Amazing action, right? Okay. Before I go to BBBY, let me just add one more thing. I got to tell you about NEXCF. I got to mention NEXCF, right? It's one of our favorites here. Where are we? There we go. Okay. Actually, let me do this. Let me pull up the American chart. Let me give you the American chart right here. So, okay. So NEXCF, what does this have in common with FUBO and DraftKings? I'll tell you what it has in common. Look, we're in a new bull market right now. Okay. A lot of those the leaders, those tech leaders, the bellwether stocks from 2020, 21, the ones who performed, they're making a comeback. Not all of them, just the ones that are the real ones. Okay, so a lot of these stocks got ahead of themselves. There's no question, right? And now what we're seeing in the last few months is the ones who have been doing the work, they're making a comeback. NEXCF is one of them. So NEXCF stock we introduced last year, 2 years, 50 cents, went to 750, 1,200% gain. it started turning up back in June. If you've been following these live streams, you would have been watching this stuff. Look, so NextTech uh, broke above the 50 moving average back June 17th from 50 cents. It doubled, went to $1 right away. Again, just like we're seeing with FUBO with DraftKings, right? So these stocks double and then they consolidate for a little while. That is the normal thing. That's healthy, right? So NextTech was early, right? These guys broke out just a few weeks ago. NextTech broke out, June 20th, right? So it's almost 2 months ago. So NextTech has been ahead, and I think what's going to happen now is we're going to see some of these guys like the DraftKings, the Fubos, etc. They're going to consolidate a little bit, right? They're going to, they might consolidate for the next few months, and then they're going to make the big move towards the end of the year. NextTech, I think, is just about done with the consolidation. It's in this triangle pattern. You see, it's going to this pennant, and it's just waiting. It's waiting for that catalyst. It's waiting for a catalyst to ignite, and then it can take off. So that is what's going on with NextTech. So again, NextTech was a little bit early, and now I'm expecting it to start catching up with the rest of the stocks. That's just the way. That's the normal cycle. Okay, here's another stock you might want to look at. This is a stock we introduced a while back, Deep Market. Not a lot of data on the charts. It's hard for me to really use this chart. It's hard to use this chart, but I'm only showing you one thing here. Is that here's another stock that's breaking out above the moving average back in July. Okay, so that's when some of these guys started breaking out, and it's on the move again. This company is in the they're monetizing carbon credits onto the blockchain. So they're bringing carbon credits onto the blockchain where they can be traded, and they have a whole, this whole business model there with recurring revenue and all that good stuff. So that's a Deep Market. Again, not a lot of data on the chart, so I can't really comment too much on it. We could see it's pretty clearly breaking out, so the trend is clearly up. I think we could probably see a return to these levels here. There's not a lot of resistance up until about 17 cents, so it could easily get there. Speaking of also the resistance levels, let's talk about the NextTech again, and I'll go back to the next chart. We'll go BBBY, all right, Bed Bath Beyond. So again, NextTech, there's an analyst price target of 250 on it. That's from HC Wainwright. We did a video on that. So that would be a triple from here, basically triple. You can make 3 times your money if this guy's right. I think it's probably could break out further, right? So once this thing starts moving, the next level of resistance, a little bit of resistance at $1.25, a little bit, maybe $1.50, very little. The main levels of resistance are going to be in this $3 range, $3.50 range, $2.50, $3.50. Actually, really like $3.50 is going to be the next level of resistance. So I think we can once this thing breaks, it could really pop because there's just not a lot of resistance in those levels. And can it go back to the old highs? Let's find out. Here's a crazy chart, BBBY, right? So this is a company that's, are they going bankrupt? I think they probably could be going bankrupt. This is one of these crazy meme stocks now, right? But look, here's the chart doesn't lie, right? We broke out of this 50 moving average, pretty strong breakout, right? August 5th, pulled back a little bit of consolidation. Today's action is, it's kind of insane. This is an insane price move, which tells you I think we're in the early stages of the new bull market. This is when you see stocks starting to make these moves. The speculative fervor is coming back to the market. The animal spirits are coming back. Now, BBBY. BBBY is stopping short right at the resistance levels. So let me draw you the line just in case, so you know what I'm talking about, in case you don't. Let me make it a green line. I will. I'm not even going to draw. I'm not going to draw too much. I'm not going to draw a trend line. Should I draw a trend line? Yeah, I'll kind of draw a trend. I'll draw. It's kind of hard to really do it here. Let me just give you a few of them. So you got. That's not real. It's not correct. I'm sorry. So it's really this one here. It's really from the top. So there's one. But you had these big spikes. That's why I'm using kind of this midpoint range. You have, look, you have this, you have this. You have these levels here, basically. You have those levels from the old spikes. So it's at $30. You have that resistance, and I think the stock is getting kind of stopped short right there. Could it go a little higher? Possibly. Look, I don't think this is a real company, so it might go a little bit higher. I would not be. I mean, this is a really dangerous stock here. Really dangerous when you see this type of crazy volatility. I mean, it's out of control basically. So yeah. Um, let's see what's going to happen with BBBY. Let's take a look. Okay. It's hanging on here. It's making a little bit of a pullback, but this may have one more spike in it. It may have. I have a feeling it's going to spike. It's going to do one more spike from here. It wants to do one more spike. Like this stock just wants to suck in the last suckers before it collapses. So it might spike to $30 to get the last suckers in, and then it collapses. Again, there's no real fundamentals in that stock. There's really nothing there. It's a company that's going to be going out of business at some point. It's just yesterday's news, right? Um, okay. Let's take a look at AMC. AMC, and we'll wrap up shortly here. Okay, so here's another of our favorite meme stocks. Now, this one, let me back to the daily chart. Clear this up. Let me get rid of these candles. Okay. So AMC, pretty interesting. Stock broke out July 6th. Again, some of the early leaders, NEXCF, AMC, those guys started, almost 2 months ago, 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago. So that one has been, it's in bull mode. I mean, it's slowing down a little bit, it's consolidating in this area. Um, are there? I think there's better bets out there than AMC right now. Like if you were like a low life degenerate, you're a speculator. I mean, FUBO, DraftKings is kind of where it's at. I think FUBO because it's so cheap, right? How about let's take a look at Upstart. Upstart. Again, Upstart I think is pretty interesting here. I picked up some last week. We're just peaking out above the 50-day moving average. This thing could have some legs. Like this thing could have some legs to the 150 range. So how about Carvana? Now I missed out on Carvana. Again, it's already 50. It's like you see this thing going higher. I just and it has I'm tempted. I might get sucked into this here. Carvana is what the chart doesn't lie. Look at this. It's breaking out of this consolidation, this box, this flag over here. It's breaking out of this flag, and this Carvana wants to go higher. I mean, this might pop to $100. It might have a very fast run to $100. That's what I mean. That's what this thing wants to do right now. It's just telling you that. Again, I don't know if this is a real company or not. I have no idea. I mean, you have this double bottom here. The MACD is looking good. The chart doesn't lie. The chart does not lie. So Carvana looking pretty bullish. What other stocks are in our universe over here? FUBO, BBBY, AMC, DraftKings, NEXCF. Okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, so I guess the question is, what are the stocks for the rest of the week that we could see some moves from? I think Carvana is going to make a breakout here. I just, it's really like this one. You really have to kind of be careful because it's actually no. I'm biased. I'm sorry. You know what it is? I'm biased because I just I don't believe in their business model. Maybe I'm wrong. So I have to acknowledge that I have to acknowledge my bias. The chart is bullish. So let's just be I may have to just go for it here, unfortunately. Anyway, look, I think FUBO, you're going to see continuation of the move here. Maybe a little bit of consolidation, but then a move towards $10. I think this move towards $10 is a fait accompli. So it could be some of these stocks like Carvana, FUBO. I'm kind of seeing a common theme. I think some of these things could double to these levels in the next like few weeks. Like we could see this lightning move, like FUBO, Carvana, even DraftKings. Can DraftKings double? I think it can. Look, these stocks, they're all correlated right now. They're all correlated. So you know what? This DraftKings chart to me looks like Carvana. And I kind of feel a little bit more comfortable with DraftKings, even though again, their fundamentals are whatever they are, what they are. I think I just feel a little more comfortable with the sports betting sector than with the used car space right now. So I have to acknowledge my bias, but the AMC chart does look good. And again, I'm waiting for NEXCF to break out this week. NEXCF, where are we here? Okay. And look, sometimes these things take a little while. Sometimes these things, it's not, again, the job of the market is to, humiliate investors. It's to, especially, people who talk about stocks. So the market is doing its job, which is to humiliate, embarrass guys like me, who talk about these stocks. So the market is doing its job. Look, Peak FinTech. Here's an example. PKK. So that's a stock. I just saw an old video, and back in I think it was like it was 2 years ago. The stock was like what was it? It was $1.50, and that's before the split, right? So. And I was saying, hey, this thing wants to go to 350, and then it's going to go higher, and it was consolidating for quite a while, and finally did break out. It went to $14, so really $7 if you account for the split. So it actually went double what I was expecting it to, and I think the same thing is going to happen with NEXCF. I know it sounds like I'm beating this dead horse. Again, this thing I'm doing with NEXCF is exactly what was going on with Peak FinTech back in. Let me see, let me block this guy here. So let me pull up Peak FinTech just for for entertainment purposes. Okay, so back over here, back in this is November. This is November of 2020, November, December. So again, it's the stock did a two for one, right? So a 2-for-1 reverse. So over here, I was saying, hey, this thing is ready to break out. It's going to go to $3. And again, it was really $1.50 here. So, and sure enough, it took a little while, and then it broke out. Then I said, hey, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. And this is between January and July of last year. That's 6 months. For 6 months, I sounded like a broken record. It was like, like Noah building the ark. It's gonna start raining. I'm building the ark. It's gonna start raining, and then it happened. All of a sudden, it started drizzling, and then all at once, and the thing broke. It broke out. It basically went from this $5 range, which is really $2.50 back with the split, to $14. Almost a triple from this breakout. And I see the same thing again happening with NEXCF. I see the same thing happening with NEXCF, where It's consolidating here. You know, I keep saying it's going to happen this week, next week, or whatever, and it's just going to happen on itself. And once it goes, it's just going to explode. I'm telling you, when this thing goes, it's going to be like the type of moves you're seeing with BBBY, with FUBO, where all of a sudden it just ignites. It just ignites and goes, parabolic. I mean, I think this is the type of thing we're going to see with NEXCF. I mean, maybe not this. This is a crazy move. I really hope NEXCF doesn't do that. I hope we see something a little bit more like a FUBO. Just a managed, controlled type of breakout. I'm very confident that we're going to see this. It's just a question of time. And look, this is it. It's that pennant. It's breaking out of that pennant. I mean, this thing is classic. It's like textbook. It's real textbook chart stuff here. So I would maybe wait a little bit for this FUBO. This could be a huge runner. Could be a huge runner, $30 potential. All right. Thank you for everybody for joining. I will see you all on the next live stream.